Then solid, sturdy, each one for himself, they bend and curve their bows and draw their arrows out of their quivers, the first steel to cleave the winged air through the sky from its shrill string, the shaft shot by the son of Hyrtacus. It sinks into the wood of the ship's mast. The mast shook, and the bird, in terror, fluttered her wings, and every one applauded loudly. And next keen Mnestheus took his stand. Bow bent and aiming high, he levelled both his arrow and sight. But fortune was not his, he could not reach the bird herself. Instead his shaft broke off the knots and cords of hemp that held her foot bound fast where she hung from the mast. She flew up to the south wind in black clouds. Then quickly, for his bow was long since ready, his shaft drawn taut, Eurytion called on his brother Pandarus in prayer. Then marked the dove as, glad, she flapped her wings beneath the open sky, and under a dark cloud he pierces her. She dropped down, dead. She left her life among the stars of the high air, and as she fell, brought back the piercing shaft. Only Acestes, knowing that the prize is lost, remained to shoot. Nevertheless, that father whirled his dart into the air to show his sounding bow, to show his art. And here a sudden prodigy appears that is to be a mighty augury. For afterward its massive meaning showed. In later days tremendous prophets hailed it. As it flew through the liquid clouds, the reed caught fire and marked its track by flames, until consumed, it vanished into thin air. Just as, set loose from heaven, often shooting stars will race, and in their wake leave trailing tresses, the Trojans and Sicilians stood, amazed, in prayer to the high ones. Nor did great Aeneas shun the omen. He embraced the glad Acestes, loading him with handsome offerings, saying, "Take them, father, for the great king of Olympus, with these signs, has willed that you have extraordinary honors. You are to have this gift that once was old Anchises' own, a bowl engraved with figures, which the Thracian Cisseus gave my father as a splendid gift, to bear as a memorial and pledge of love." This said, he binds Acestes' brows with green garlands of laurel, naming him the victor, first over all. The good Eurytion did not begrudge this preference and prize, and this although he was himself the only bowman to bring the bird down from the sky. And after these, the next to take his gift is Mnestheus, he who broke the cord, the last, Hippocoon, whose swift shaft pierced the mast. But while that contest still was under way, Father Aeneas calls for Epytides, the guardian and companion of young Iülus, and whispers this into his trusted ear. "Go now and tell Ascanius that if his band of boys is ready with him, if his horses are arrayed for their maneuvers, then he can lead his squadrons out to honor Anchises and can show himself in arms. Then he himself calls for the crowding throng to quit the long arena, clear the field. The boys advance high on their bridled horses, in even ranks before their parents' eyes they glitter. As they pass, the men of Troy and Sicily admiringly murmur. And all, as custom calls for, have their hair bound with a wreath of clipped leaves, and each bears 2 cornel lances tipped with iron heads, and some have polished quivers on their shoulders, and high upon his chest, down from the neck, each wears a pliant chain of twisted gold. The squads are 3 in number, and 3 captains parade, with twice 6 boys behind each captain. They gleam in ranks of 6, each with a leader. One band of boys is led by a triumphant small Priam, who renews the name of his grandfather. Your bright son, Polites, destined to swell the race of the Italians. He rides upon a dappled Thracian stallion spotted with white, which as it paces shows white pasterns and a forehead high and white. Next Atys rides, from whom the Aeacian Latins have drawn their lineage. The little Atys, a boy loved by the boy Iülus. The last and handsomest of all, Iülus, is mounted on a horse from Sidon, one fair Dido gave him as memorial and pledge of love. The other boys ride on Sicilian horses from Acestes' stable.